includes
Nesse vídeo, você vai aprender.
Hello friend, welcome back. In this video, I want to discuss about that factory functions. Okay, better I remove everything and I put some of the note for you. That will be the factory. Okay, factory functions. Factory functions. So with using these factory functions, we can actually create reusable object. Okay, better I show you with the live example, then everything will be more clear. Like I take one of the constant variable. Okay, I have to take one of the constant variable and I just name it as a user1. And for the user1, I want to create one of the object. So I hope you already know about it. And I just take one of the property as a name and I name it as a Aryan. Okay, I name it as a Aryan. Great. And also I take another one as a age property. For the age property, I make it as a 40. And also if you want to take another one, I hope you already know about it. I just name it as a work. Okay, work. So there is a work property, and into this work property I declare one of the another function in our this object area. I hope you already remember. I have already discussed about that things with you. That is our another function. And into this function I want to print one of the console log. Okay, with this console log I want to print one of the string value. I just name it as a Aryan. Okay, Aryan. We started working. Okay, so this type of the string value that will be displayed. Okay friend, and now if you print it like there is a console, and with this console log I want to print our user1. Okay, I want to use that user1. So now what exactly that will be display? If you click as a save all, so that is one of the object data. Now that should be display. You can see it's display as age, Aryan and work. Into this work area I have passed that functions. Okay, now it's successfully display that things like that way. And now if you want to reusable, that means if you want to reuse this same object, then what exactly you have to do, right? Then you have to do here, better I make it as a semicolon, which is totally fine. So then you have to copy it, right? You have to copy it and you have to paste it. And here I take another one as a user2, that is another object. And this object I name it as a Kazi. Okay, I name it as a Kazi. And then here if you want to visible it, that will be as a user2, right? That will be as a user2. Now that will be another one. Now click as a save all. Now go there, click as a refresh. Now that will be print another one. One is the Aryan, another is the Kazi, right? But where exactly that problem now? Like here, there is one of the function, right? Here I call these functions again in here. So right now they have the only one, but if they have that multiple console value and if they have the multiple function, then that will become little bit confusing, right? So you can actually prevent it with using that constructor function or rather than the factory function. So in our next video I will discuss about that constructor function. Like right now I will discuss about the factory function. So with these factory functions we can minimize this code and we can run it very smoothly. So for doing this here, I want to take another function. Okay, I take another function. How much easily we can do that work? I show you. I take one of the function name as a user. So into this user area here, I want to declare another constant variable. That means constructor variable. I take it as just user object. Okay, object. So I just take one of the user object, and into this user object area, into this object, I want to pass all that our object data. That means this data. So I just simply copy that things from to this position, and here I want to paste it. So here we successfully created that our object, and now I want to return this object. Okay, after that I want to return this object. So our object name as a user object, right? That is a user object. So here I name that our object name, that is a user object. So now from to this position I simply return this object. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. So now whenever that user will be needed, I simply run our this user. Okay, then automatically that will be get all the data. Like here there is a user constant user1, right? So right now I want to remove everything. Okay, I want to remove everything from to this position. So now that will be our constant user, and into this user area I want to load our user. Okay, user function. I simply loaded this user function in here, and also the here's the same. I simply remove it and I want to call that user. Okay, I simply call that our user function. I have already created that name as a user. So now I simply loaded this user function as a user1 and then user2. So right now here I have already passed that user1 and then user2, and if you now click as a save all, now go there, click as a refresh, now you can see the same result. Now there is our one, there is a one is printing, another is successfully printed. I hope friend it's very clear, right? So now it's successfully display our this two of this object data. So now I want to do here, I don't want to pass that hard crop this type of one of the all that value. You can actually pass it by the parameter. I have already discussed about that things with you. Like here I want to pass that name and then age. So I want to take two of this parameter as a name, and also I want to take another one as a age. Okay, so that is a two of this parameter. And in ES6 features here, I have already discussed about that things with you. We can actually pass on the value from here. Right now we don't need this. I simply remove this, or only I take that property. Okay, I simply take that of this property here. So now I want to pass both of this parameter value. There is a name and then age. Okay, then automatically that will be added in here. Now I want to pass that all that name value, that is our name value. I want to do in our user1, into this user1 I pass it as a Kazi, and age I want to pass it. Okay, age I want to pass it as a 40, and also I take another one that for the user2 I take as a Aryan, and then I pass that as a 35. Okay, I make it as a 35. Great. So now that should be very clear to you. Now click as a save all. Now go there. Now click as a refresh. You can see there is a name as a Kazi, age as a 40, and name as a Aryan, age as a 35. How much rich is that? Right? How much rich is that? Now our total functionality is very interactive. So with this factory function, we can actually develop that things like that way. I hope friend every part is very much clear to you. In our next video, I want to do the same things with using that constructor function. How can do that work? I will show you that things with the live example. Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about how can display some of the object with using that factory functions, right? Now in this video, I want to discuss about another function that will be as a constructor function. Okay, constructor function. So with this constructor function, we can also display another object data. If you want to do that work right now, I want to do the first time I want to create another functions, because that is one of the functions, right? I want to declare one of the function, and that is a function. I name it as a user. Okay, I name it as a user, and here also you have to make it as a capital letter, that is a user. And then I want to pass two of this parameter. One is the name, another is the same as a age. Okay, I pass both of this in here, and then I want to with using that this keyword, this is for it should be created one of the empty object. Okay, I show you everything will be more clear. Like I name it as a this, and then our name. So name, it should be created one of the empty object, and here we'll actually insert some of the value. That means here I name it as a name. Okay, I just simply take it as a name. And also with this and then age, I want to pass our age in here, so that will be created another empty object. And also the same for the this, and I want to use that as a work. Okay, before I use that as a work, and then our function. So into this work function area here, I want to use that as a function. There is another function, and then there is our function. Okay, so into this function area, before what exactly I have done, I pass out the console value, string value. I want to simply pass it in here. Okay friend, perfect. And now I want to visible it. If you want to visible, I take another constructor. Okay, a constructor variable as a user. I name it as a user1. Okay, user1, and then user1 will be as a first of all here we have to write down as a new keyword. Why I'm actually using that new keyword, I will discuss about that things with you. Like I just take one of the new keyword, and then our function name as a user. Okay, I simply loaded that user. And now here I want to do in our name, I just take two of this property as a name and then age. Here I want to pass that name. I pass that name as Aryan. Okay, I pass that name as Aryan, and also I make it as a 30. Okay, I make it as a 30. I passed both of this parameter value in here. Okay, I pass both of this. Now I want to check it. I want to pass with the console log. There is a console log, and into this console log area I want to pass that our user1. Okay, I simply pass that user1. Now what exactly that result that will be display? Like here, I want to our previous one. I want to make it as a comment out. Okay, I make it as a comment out, and now if you click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, yes, you can see it's now perfectly get the data. That means it's now perfectly get that our age as a 30 and name as a Aryan. Okay, that means it successfully display our object all the data. Okay, so here, as I told you, from here I take off two of this parameter, and now that is our parameter value as Aryan and then 30. I insert it in our which place? That is a name and then age, right? And for the reasons, when using as a these, then that will be created one of the empty object. So that is our empty object for the name. So here I actually inserted this Aryan data, that means Aryan value data, and also I take another one as this age, that is will be created another empty object. Here I pass out this 30 value data. Okay friend, I hope it's very clear. Like if you want to check it, I show you why I'm actually using that these should, as I told you, it should be created on the empty object. Like if you want to check it, okay, if you want to check it with the console log, that is a console and then console log, and into this console log area here, if you pass that as this, okay, then everything will be more clear. Now if you click as a save all, now go there, click as a refresh. Now you can see in our number 9, that means in our 9, so that is all that our empty object data, it's successfully inserted all the data in here. And if you run it, if you run this console log before this, then you will be more understand. It should be clear on the empty object. Click as a save all. Now go there, click as a refresh. Now you can see in our number 4, it's created one of the empty object. As I told you, so with this it should be created one of the empty object, and into this object area I insert all that our data, that means name data, age data. So that is our all that value. Okay friend, I hope it is very much clear to you. So now that is created on the empty object. Here I pass our all that value. Okay, so that is all that our value. And also I created another one as a new keyword. So new keyword is means for that is one of the empty object, right? So if you don't use that in new, then that will be as a global. Okay, that means this object, empty object, will be as a global. For the reasons here we have to use it as a new for our this function as a user function. Okay friend, I hope it is very clear. I have already discussed about that factory functions. Now I did that same things with using that constructor function. Okay, so that is the simple process. Just simply understand that how constructor function work, how all that our factory function work. Okay friend, I hope both of this is very much clear to you. Hello friend, welcome back. I have already discussed about that factory functions and the constructor functions, right? Now together both of these I want to create one of the object. Better I want to do and to name it. I name it as a create, okay, object using factory and constructor function. Okay. For doing this, better I want to do and to remove everything. Right now I simply remove it. First of all, I want to create one of the object. Okay, I take one of the constructor, that is our constructor object. I name it as a home. Okay, home address 1, and I want to create one of the object, and into this object area I take some of the property as a state property, and for the state property I put some of the value as a. Okay, and also I take another one as a city. Okay, city property, and here I take another string value as a b, and if you want to take another one you can take it. I take another one as a zip code. Okay, zip code, and for the zip code I make it as a c. Great. So I simply take 3 of this is a property as a state property, or value as a city, b, and zip code as a c. Great. And now I want to do if you want to display it, then what exactly you have to do, that will be as a console, that is a console log, and into this console log area here I want to do and to display our this object property, that means object name as a home address. Now if you click as a save all, and now if you go click as a refresh, now you can see it's not successfully display all the data. So now I want to do the same things with using that factory. Okay, factory functions first. So if you want to do that work with the factory functions, then what exactly you have to do? First of all, you have to declare all the functions, right? So that is a function. I just name it as a home address. Okay, home address. So that is our function name, and into this function area, that is our all that property, right? So that is our all that property means that is all that our property, right? I want to do and to take it. I just simply copy it, and here after that I paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. So now that is our home address. So here we have to run another name, right? So here that will be as a home address function, whatever you choose. Okay, right now you can also from here we have to return it. So you can actually return it also from to this position. Better I want to do and to return it in here. Okay, that is a return. I simply return it in here from to this position. Right now we don't need this. I want to return our total this object data. So now we can actually make it more dynamic. So that is our factory functions, right? So into this factory functions, I have already discussed about that things with you. If you want to make it more dynamic, then you can also pass out the parameter. Okay, by just simply pass that parameter as a street. That is a street. Okay, so I simply pass that as a street, and also I take another parameter as a city, and also I take another one as a zip code. I just simply take 3 of this a parameter in here. Okay, so that is all the parameters. So as I told you, you can also pass that that is our key, and then value. Our value will be our this state. So I'm going to pass it. That city will be our city, and then zip code will be our zip code. So in ES6, as I told you, when your key and then your value will be the same, then you can actually use that only one. You don't need to pass both of this. Only one will be enough, because there is the same name, our key, and then value. Right now I want to make it as the same, and zip code, our key, and then value is the same. For the reasons here, I want to pass only one. Okay, which is totally fine. So now I want to pass all that our argument value for our this parameter, like here. Okay, here I want to pass it. So right now we don't need this. I close it, and I take one of the constructor variable as a home address 1, and into this home address, that will be our this home address, right? So that is a function. Into this function area, I pass all that our parameter. Now I want to pass all that our argument value as a. Okay, I make it as A, and also I want to take another one as a B, another one will be as a C. Okay, I want to take another one as a C. Sorry, here I want to do the comma, then that will be as a C. Great. And also if you want to take another one, you can also take it. Better I copy it and then I paste it. That will be as a home address 2. Our method will be the same, and here I want to pass that as X. Okay, X, Y, Z. Okay, I make it as a Z. Great. So now if you want to visible it, that is our home address 1, and also I want to display another one as a home address 2, right? So that will be the home address 2. I want to now display it. Click as a save all, and if you now go there, click as a refresh. Yes, you can see it's now perfectly display our object. That means one object is A, B, C, another object as a X, Y, Z. I hope, friend, it's very much clear to you how can create some of the object with using that factory functions. So that is our factory functions. So now I want to do that same things with using that constructor function. So if you want to do that work with using the constructor functions, what exactly you have to do? Then that will be as a function, right? Sorry, I make it as a function, and that is our function, and I just name it as a home. Okay, home address. So into this home address here, also I want to do the same things. I want to pass 3 of this parameter. I simply copy it and I just simply pass all the parameters. And also here only we have to change what we have to make it as a this keyword, right? So that will be this and state, and our state will be as state. Okay, that will be as state. Simple work. And after that also the same for the city, then this city, then city will be as a city. Okay, that's city. And then the zip code, that means this, and then zip code will be our zip code. Okay, I hope you already remember that part. So now that is our another function as a constructor function. So now I want to declare it. I want to declare it in here. I better copy it, and then I simply paste it. So that will be our home address, right? That is our home address. I name it as a home address. Now I make it as a 3, and then our method, our function name as a home address. So that is our home address, and from here I pass another value as a D. Better I make it as a D, and then I make it as a M. Okay, make it as a M, and then N. I make it as a N. Great. So now let's check this out, is perfectly created this object or not. So here also we have to pass another new, rather than that will be as a global, right? So that is our empty object. I want to use that as a new keyword, that is a new, and then our home. And now if you want to print it, like here I print that to the console, and then the console log, I want to print that our home 3, that is a home 3. Okay, I want to use that home 3. Right now, that means that is our home 3. Now I want to print it. If you click as a save all, that is our 7 line. And if you refresh it, yes, you can see in our 7 line, that is now perfectly display one of the another object as a D, M, and then N. Okay, friends, so I hope it's very much clear to you. So that is our factory function, and that is our constructor function. How can combinely both work both of these? I hope it's very much clear to you right now.